It's a shit show. It's a shit show. Shit show 2020.
Welcome to Shitshow 2020. Hi, I'm Emily, the marketing manager for Motorcycle Relief Project, and I'll be your host tonight. Have we got a show for you? Tonight, we're going to hear from a couple of corporate big shots, pro motocross racer, and a Navy SEAL. We're going to ask for your money. We're going to give you lots of options to donate, and there's a chance your donation might be matched. So stay tuned and let the shit show begin. Hey, Tom, nice to see you.
Hey, I'm good to see you too. I love your sweater.
I love it too. Thanks, Michelin. They gave it to us.
I know. I thought it was great that they gave us free tires for our motorcycles, but free sweaters is even better.
I know. I think we should probably put them on our website for this. I know that they're already the official MRP tire sponsor, but maybe we should make them the official sweater sponsor.
I think that's a very good idea. No, I'm not like you. I normally don't like wearing flashy clothes, but I love this sweater. In fact, I love it so much, I told Dana that I wanted to wear it to the Christmas Eve service at our church this year.
What'd she say?
At first, she wasn't thrilled about the idea, but then she realized that the Christmas Eve service got canceled because of COVID, so she came around.
Bless her heart.
Right.
Oh, well, it's been a crazy year for everyone, and it's certainly affected MRP. Tom, how has COVID affected the program this year?
I want to say a few words about how it affected our MRP family, because it did have a negative impact. We know of at least one alumni that tested positive and got sick. We had several donors test positive, and some of them get sick. And then a few family members of kind of the core team, Mike Bobbitt's mom. And we did lose one family member to COVID, a family member of one of our key volunteers early on in the program.
In spite of those challenges, it seems like people who did come on the rides were the ones who really needed the help.
Yeah, I would say that's true. We had several participants this year, as we often do, that admitted in the beginning of the rides that they were just in a really dark place and were having a hard time finding the will and motivation to keep on going. And fortunately, our program was the right fit for them. And so by the time the week was over, they were going home saying they felt more hope and had some new perspectives and new skills. And a couple of them even said that it saved their life.
That's amazing. What were the final numbers for the year?
Well, we had to cancel 5 rides, but we were able to get 6 done, two in Colorado and 4 in Arizona. So our number of participants, new participants who went through the program for the first time this year was 37, which brings us up to 290 total since we did our first relief ride 5 years ago.
That's amazing. Well, and the pandemic definitely impacted our finances as well, right?
Yeah, I've worked in nonprofits for almost 20 years now, and I've seen this before. In times of economic certainty, it definitely affects charitable giving. And when people don't know what the future is going to hold, and they don't know if their businesses are going to survive, or they don't know how much value their portfolios are going to lose, or a lot of people worry about losing their jobs. So it causes people to just tighten up the pocketbook a little and not be as free with charitable giving, and that definitely impacted us. Our giving slowed to a trickle in the last 6 months.
Goodness, that's rough. I'm sorry, Tom. I hate that.
Yeah, and then of course we also had to cancel our annual fundraiser that we usually do at Performance Cycle every December, and that is a really important event for us. We usually generate about our a third of our income for the year at that one event. So not being able to do that, causes some real stress and uncertainty, but that's why we're here tonight, right? This is our virtual event. In place of that, we couldn't risk bringing 200 people into a banquet in close proximity. So this is what we were able to do. And we're hoping people will be inspired by what they see and hear tonight and be motivated to give. And even if they can't give like normal because of what's going on, we hope people will be able to give something.
Thanks for sharing, Tom. Were there any bright spots this year financially?
One of the brightest spots was the people who support MRP on a regular monthly basis. We have people who give us $10 a month all the way up to one donor who sends in $2,000 a month. And all those monthly donors, we have a couple dozen of them, add up to really important support that really is what helps us keep the lights on when the kind of the unexpected gifts dry up because of the economic uncertainty. Those regular recurring gifts really fund the program being able to keep operating.
That's amazing. And that's a note, if you are willing to give, no matter how much the amount, $10 a month up to 50 to, I don't know, $20,000 a month, whatever you want to do, would love for that to be made into a recurring gift. We'll give you some instructions at the end of this video that will tell you how you can give a recurring gift. And it's very simple, but stay tuned to the end of the fundraiser. We don't want to distract too much right now.
For any gift up to $100 a month, if someone signs up tonight for new recurring monthly donations, their gift will be matched throughout the year 2021 by Jamie and Carol Steer, who offered to do that for us. So if you'd give $10 a month in 2021, it'll be $20 a month, thanks to Jamie and Carol.
So give a little extra every month.
They can't match $1,000 a month, so we'll cap it at $100 a month.
Tom, it's been all over the news that the pandemic has caused mental health issues like depression and anxiety to worsen. I know that you can relate to that. Would you mind sharing about your own journey?
People who know me know that while I am a civilian, I still struggle with a lot of the same issues as the people that we're trying to help through our program. PTSD to some extent, and for sure, depression and anxiety. At the beginning of this year, I just really felt like things were not working for me mentally very well. My brain was not functioning very well. And I was on all these different psych meds for different things. And I just decided that because I didn't feel well and wasn't thinking very well, that I wanted to try going back to ground zero and seeing what I was like with no meds at all. So I got off all the pharmaceuticals. I made it for a few months and things seemed to be going okay. But then when this whole COVID thing heated up and we had to cancel rides, and I knew there were people who needed the help that we give on our rides, but we weren't going to be able to give them that help. And it became really hard for me to cope. And my depression really flared up, and I was having a hard time being motivated. And I tried to plow through and make it without going back on any of the meds, but it wasn't getting any better. It wasn't working. As much as I wanted to be the poster child for the stuff we teach on our relief rides, I ended up at an appointment with my doctor, and he suggested that I might be one of those people who just does better staying on an antidepressant long term. So I got back on the antidepressant I had been taking, but without all the other meds in the mix. And it's been a really good thing. I'm feeling hopeful again, and I'm feeling not as overwhelmed by everything, and which is all really good, because shortly after I got back on the antidepressant, things took another downward turn, as you know.
Yeah, I do know. And I'm assuming you're referring to Happy. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the shit show that was this year. A lot of people who are watching know who Happy is. He was our MRP therapy dog. Yeah, and we took him on every ride. A lot of our participants have their own service dogs, which they leave at home for the week while they come on a relief ride. And having Happy around was really helpful to them. And at the end of our rides, we do an exit survey, and one of the questions we ask is, how was it having Happy along on the ride? And this year we had one participant write, he was my favorite member of the whole staff. Anyway, Happy started showing some strange symptoms at the end of the summer, and long story short, we were down in Tucson and he was not doing well, and I had them do an MRI, and they discovered that he had 3 tumors in his brain. And the neurologist prescribed prednisone, which made him feel better for a little while, but then he got even worse. And after doing that back and forth several times, and it was like 1 step forward, 2 steps back for him, he just kept getting worse, even though he would have moments of being okay. And he ended up in a lot of pain and was having a hard time even moving. He would just stand in the same place for minutes on end because it hurt him to move around. And so we ended up having to put him down 3 weeks ago. And that was really hard, because he had really become not just a special part of the MRP program, he definitely was, but he had become my buddy. And he was found in a ditch in Arkansas, and ended up at the shelter in Evergreen, Colorado, where I live. And we adopted him from there. And for the next 2.5 years, he had an amazing life. I mean, he got to do so many things and go on so many rides and see so much cool scenery. And he loved riding in the sidecar. In fact, we had him cremated, and we have his ashes. And one of the things I would like to do is take different people who really miss Happy for a ride in the sidecar, and let different people scatter some of his ashes in some of the places where he liked to ride. So I feel like I just kind of brought everyone down. So let's turn it in a different direction.
Well, that's what makes this year such a shit show. And that's partially why we named it a shit show. Because, yeah, there's a lot that we can laugh at about it being absurd. And then there was just some really hard stuff that happened this year. And so, I mean, Happy was one of my buddies too. And the loss has hit me harder than I imagined it would. So thanks for sharing about that.
It's hit Mike pretty hard too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, anybody with a heart, that dog was the reason we had our fundraiser last year, him and Don, be happy. So thank you for sharing that, Tom. I appreciate it. And I know it's not easy to bring up such painful losses. So, but yes, let's keep this shit show going. So we've got some incredible supporters, and we checked in with them to hear how they're holding up this year and why MRP matters to them. So let's turn now to Ted Moyer, the executive director of the BMW MOA, and Zach Bell, who is a professional motocross racer who served as dirt coach on Relief Ride 37.
I just want to start by thanking you for, number one, all the support that the MOA has given us through free advertising in the magazine and grants. But I want to thank you personally, because you've been just a huge advocate for our program. So
I'm excited. Personally, it's rewarding to me, or it makes me feel good to see MRP perform well and succeed. It just, for whatever reason, it brings a smile to my face, and it's just kind of a bright spot for me to see you guys do well. So I'm excited to see it.
We've received over $50,000 in direct financial support from the MOA and the MOA Foundation, over $75,000 in free advertising in the Owner's News magazine. We can tie over $200,000 in financial support, And we've had 12 motorcycles and 2 trailers donated to us as a result of the advertising you've given us. So the impact of the MOA is just absolutely huge for us.
It just became apparent that there were a lot of MOA members who were current or former military and could benefit from the services. And then, of course, the same way, I met one of your participants at a motorcycle show who was a New York Port Authority officer and was a 9/11 responder.
Eddie.
And of course, he's done some promo videos for you, and he was a member even before he saw the ad in the magazine. And so it's pretty easy for me as an administrator or for us as a staff to look at it and say, hey, this is, this has got some impact to our members and something that we should be supportive of. So like I said, we're really proud to be associated with it.
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Tom?
Doing great. Heard you had another, what was it, a collarbone this time?
Yeah, so I broke my collarbone. I think it was just a few weeks after I was finished with the MRP 37 ride with you guys. I'm just kind of getting ready for a race, and I fell and broke the collarbone, had surgery, and was back racing 3 weeks later. So, I mean,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
More hardware?
Yep. So I have 2 plates in my left clavicle now, and I think like 20 something screws.
And you're not only like back racing again, Richard sent me a text with a link to an article from Dirt Bike Magazine that says, Bell is back in dominating fashion. So you've had some time to digest. What's stuck with you about going on the ride?
Mainly just kind of being more present with myself and with my surroundings of people, being more courteous of, being mindful of, conversations that are, being brought up, and just things that, shouldn't be talked about, and things that I learned to deal with, day to day is, being mindful was one of the big ones that I learned from MRP 37 was.
Well, it was great having you along on the ride. You like my shirt?
I love your shirt.
You autographed it, and the circle of the Z, that must be your Z, goes right around my nipple. I really like it.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. Yeah, I have a race this weekend and next weekend, both in Lake Havasu, and that'll close out my season for 2020. And like you said, 2020 was a shit show. Kind of was for all of us. So I'm glad it's kind of ending, but I want to go on a high note and just be ready for 2021 and be ready to be that badass. That's
all right. Well, Zach, it's been great talking to you, and thank you so much for giving us a few minutes, and good luck with your last 2 races.
Thank you, Tom. It was good talking to you.
Right on. See ya.
See ya.
Hey, Tom, we got another $10,000 match.
Right.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. 2 of our favorite supporters, Jim and Joanne Steinbeck, have offered to match the next 10,000 that comes in. And for all you guys who've been participants on MRP relief rides, Jim and Joanne are the ones who donated Helga. So from the previous owners of Helga, the next $10,000 will be matched.
Yeah, thank you, Jim and Joanne. Okay, so to give right now, you can either click on your screen, and there's 3 options to donate right here. If you want to do your own thing, like, I don't know, you want to do $50 or $250, you can go outside of the video window and click the donate button, and you can choose any amount you want. There's a little custom amount window that pops up above the donation option. So go wild.
I want everyone to know there is no amount that is too small, even a $10 donation. I'd rather have a bunch of people give small amounts than feel like, oh, they don't have any money and they can't do anything. Even $5. Come on, everybody can give $5.
Give us $5. Go to the window right outside of this video screen and give right now.
All right, so what's up next, Em?
Okay, Tom. Well, next we're going to chat with one of our largest corporate sponsors, as well as one of our most generous individual donors. Ken Murphy is the CEO of Komodo, the parent company of Revzilla, Cycle Gear, J&P Cycles, and as of a few weeks ago, Rever. After Ken, we'll hear from David Heaney, who is kind of like this business tycoon that keeps a low profile. So I tried to Google him and we discovered he's not much for publicity. So it's probably why we like him so much. But anyway, let's take a listen.
Hey, Ken, it's good to see you again.
Tom, wonderful to be with you. Thanks so much for having me, for sure.
You know, the theme of our event this year, it has been a shit show for everyone, but I know that it hasn't been all bad for the motorcycle industry. What's it been like for Komodo this year?
While the early part of the year was worrisome and stressful, but it is clear that America has either taken to riding or gotten back to riding. And this has by far ended up being the best year that Komodo has ever had. So truth be told, we feel very fortunate.
What is it about the work that we do, Ken, that resonates with you and that makes you want to have your company involved in this?
The mission of the Motorcycle Relief Project aligns very well with our own mission. And our mission at Komodo is to serve the rider, fuel the industry, and then hopefully inspire the community. And we try to do the right thing and always put people first, whether they're our own team members, our customers, and our communities. We try to promote the positive impact that motorcycling has on society. It's clear that supporting veterans' mental health and well-being and is truly impactful and an important way to do that. We earlier this year lost one of our own team members to suicide, a gentleman by the name of Corey Hadley. Corey served 6 years and 3 tours of duty in Iraq and in Afghanistan as an Army infantryman and sharpshooter, and he was an incredible human, a true moto enthusiast, a servant leader, and we know that he suffered silently from these credible wounds, if you will. In fact, working with MRP, we have created a way to honor Corey's legacy and help our own team members get what they need. And once it's again safe to travel, we'll be sending one of our veterans on an annual Corey Hadley Memorial Relief Ride. Beyond being an amazingly important cause that you all are trying to advance, it resonates quite closely with those of us at Komodo as well.
Anything you'd like to say to the veterans and first responders we serve, or to the people who help support this?
I think quite simply it would be thank you. Just an incredible and sincere debt of gratitude for those of you who do what you do. It's not easy. It takes a special breed, and it's because of the sort of sacrifice and the general commitment to others that so many of us, myself included, are able to enjoy so many freedoms and liberties that we have. This is an amazing cause, one we're incredibly proud to be associated with, affiliated with, and look forward to hopefully being an even bigger part of supporting your mission in the years ahead.
How old are you, Ken?
I'm 45, just turned 45 a couple weeks ago.
Oh, to be 45 again.
You look younger than me. How old are you?
57.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You look great, man. Good for you.
Well, I eat a lot of preservatives.
That's
my secret.
That's a good one then. I'll have to.
People knock MSG, but it's wonderful for your skin.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Ken. Hey, David. Great to see you.
Thanks so much. Glad to join you.
Hey, one of the things I want people who are tuned in this evening to understand is that the majority of MRP's funding comes from individuals. We don't get any government support at all. And you are among the most generous individuals who supports us. I know everyone has their own reasons for wanting to support us and our work, but you have a pretty unique experience with the same thing we're trying to help people with. Would you mind talking about that a little bit?
No, be happy to. As you probably know, once I understood the mission, I got very interested because, as I've told you, I have had PTSD in one form or another for quite a long time. I was in a very violent home invasion, which triggered it in me. And although I didn't get any help for 15 years after I'd kind of gotten to a pretty dark spot, I got help. My personal life really was what was very difficult. I sort of rolled up in a ball. I quit socializing. I didn't like to be out at night. I carried a gun for years everywhere I went. I drank heavily at night to be able to sleep. And it was just a very difficult situation for me. And as you probably are aware, this anxiety and depression that we call PTSD can come from anything. It doesn't have to be a violent episode. I had a friend in the business community who went to close the deal of a lifetime, and it cratered, and he was driving home and lost it essentially, and drove to the side of the road, shut the car off, and sat in his car for an hour or two before he could recover. And I was talking to him 8 years later, just in the hall at my office, and he realized what I'd gone through, and he called me an hour later and said, "I'm still going through that. What do I do?"
Wow.
So it can happen. You can be born with this. So it can happen to anybody for a variety of reasons. And of course, since I've talked about it so much, I've heard a lot of stories. So I'm anxious to help and enjoy helping.
Well, David, I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Well, Tom, I've always enjoyed the visits, and I'm sorry we're not doing this live this year, but one thing before you go, I'd really like to match the next $30,000 of contributions you get during the event, dollar for dollar, and hope you raise a lot of money.
Oh, man, thank you. That's awesome.
Well, you're welcome, and we all appreciate everything you do to keep this thing going, and we're really impressed, and I personally just think it's so valuable to these people, and I know how important it is to them. So thanks so much.
Thank you, David.
Okay, something like that. Holy smokes! David Heaney just offered $30,000 match, y'all. Woo!
Well, that means that I hope not everybody who was going to give a lot already gave, because we got a lot more to go. So dig deep, people.
Yeah, it's the time. Again, you can click on your screen, or you can go outside the screen to choose a custom amount, but we've got lots of options for you to give. Thank you to all of your donations. Relief rides are part of the core program here at MRP. So here's a short video on what they're all about.
Hi, this is Tom. I'm president and founder of Motorcycle Relief Project, and I wanted to do a quick video to talk to you guys about what a relief ride is. So our mission as an organization is to honor and encourage veterans and first responders, and to give them ways to decompress, get unstuck, connect with other people who've been through similar shit, and learn tools for dealing with that. Relief rides are 5-day adventure bike rides where we take our participants out on adventure bikes. And we have a fleet of BMW GS adventure bikes that we make available. We ride during the day, we ride through some incredible scenery in Colorado or Arizona in the wintertime, and we ride a combination of pavement and dirt. And we have a professional dirt instructor with us for the week. So if you've never ridden an adventure bike on dirt before, we teach you how to do that. The goal is to just get out and enjoy nature, enjoy hanging out and joking around with each other. At the end of the day, we get back to the lodge. There's time for people to take a shower. We cook dinner, we eat dinner together, kind of family style, and talk about the fun we had that day.
That was fun.
And after dinner is really the most important part of our whole program, which is our evening workshops and conversations. It's just a discussion about a theme, and the theme will be some material for figuring out how to do battle with their own inner demons, how to not be so stressed and angry all the time, and really how to try to get back to the person that we used to be and that we know we still are inside somehow. We call these relief rides for a reason. We truly want everyone who is a participant on the ride to be able to leave at the end of the experience feeling like a weight has lifted, feeling like they have gained some relief, feeling like they have more hope for going back home and tackling whatever it is that they're facing. So we do a lot of things to make sure that it's a comfortable place where people can be real. Everything's anonymous. There's no fixing allowed. There's no judging. We want to create a safe place where everyone can relax and not pretend that they have all their shit together. So that's basically what a relief ride is. I encourage you to apply. You can apply right from our website, motorelief.com. motorelief.org, MOTO relief.org. Hopefully we get a chance to ride together.
Tom, did we cover it all?
I think so. Just one last thing is anyone who is thinking about applying for our program, I just want to say relief rides are really fucking fun and really helpful.
Well, now that everyone knows what a relief ride is all about, we're going to hear from 2 MRP alumni about their experiences going through the program. First up is Lance Bach, a Navy SEAL who was a participant on Relief Ride 33 at the end of last year. And then on deck after Lance is Richard Mosley, who's an Army veteran and 28-year police officer.
Hey, Lance, good to see you.
Hey, Tom. How's things out there on the Front Range?
Front Range is good, a little snowy.
Yeah.
Hey, we've had a lot of different veterans go through our program representing every branch of the military, and not every MOS, but certainly a whole lot of them. But I think we've only had a couple of Navy SEALs, and for sure you are the first Navy SEAL captain we've ever had. So I know SEALs are an elite group, but being an 06 SEAL is even more elite. So I just thought people would enjoy hearing a little bit about your story. Would you mind telling people how you came to MRP?
Well, as you mentioned, I spent 33 years in the Navy, 28 years in the SEAL teams, or 28 years as a SEAL. And it was a great career working with some of the highest caliber people on some of the most challenging and important missions. In fact, I became a Middle East and Asia expert with deployments to Operation Desert Storm, Iraq and Afghanistan wars, a bunch of smaller places in the Middle East and Asia. And when I retired in 2016, some things started to bubble up in my experience that either I hadn't handled while I was on active duty or I had kind of ignored them. Along with the experience that I had, as a typical Navy SEAL has, with some pretty dangerous training and deployments, wars, I think I had more than my fair share of encounters with suicide. My best friend took his life, another teammate, a member of my command that worked for me, 2 other good friends attempted suicide. And this combined with some other difficult problems that I had were really causing me some emotional pain.
So that's what caused you to sign up. And what was the experience like for you on the ride?
Motorcycle ride with veterans was tremendous, but motorcycles always clear my head, always get me to focus on the now, always get me to, forget about my troubles. But I think the discussions we had were equally helpful at MRP. And one idea that really came to me that I really credit with MRP for me was this concept of moral injury. Mm-hmm. And it's an idea that, I came to understand. I hadn't been able to put a finger on what was bothering me, what was bubbling up in my experience until I came to MRP and we had this discussion about moral injury. And I think, the key part of any kind of a healing process, maybe first is figure out what the problem is. And I think the discussions that we had in an open and, I think sympathetic way with other veterans about moral injury and others, was very helpful for me. I know there's some good motorcycle events and rides out there for veterans, but I don't think there's anything like the Motorcycle Relief Project that combines the challenge of riding adventure motorcycles with guided discussions on what I would call personal restoration. And I think the heartfelt dialogue and support amongst the veterans makes MRP really a unique and healing atmosphere. And I think it's a great investment for anyone who's willing to make a tangible impact on the lives of veterans and first responders, and someone who also believes that motorcycles can bring out the best in us.
Hey, Richard, it's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hey, you've become one of our most valuable volunteers And I want everyone to know a little bit about your story and why you got involved with MRP. So would you mind sharing a few words about that?
I was in the Army Reserves for 20 something years, and also a dual career in law enforcement on the civilian side for 20 plus years. And I didn't realize how my life was going in a downward spiral. I found myself in a dark hole. I was existing but not living, lost my family. I ended up losing both my military and law enforcement career. I was basically done. Had no hope, no desire to even continue. I heard about MRP, and it was for me kind of a last ditch effort. I tried other things, and I just suffering with severe depression and anxiety. I decided to give MRP a shot, and I didn't realize how much it would change my life. It saved me personally, and it saved my family. The few years that I've been involved with MRP now, it's something I look forward to. I stay involved with, and I just cannot believe how much 5 or 6 days with a bunch of veterans and Tom and Mike has refocused my life, put my life in new direction, given me purpose, given me desire, given me just a want to enjoy life again. So MRP is without a doubt changed my entire life and saved my family.
You're one of the few people who has been on veterans rides and first responder rides. What do you see any difference between the two groups and the challenges they face?
The difference between the veterans and the law enforcement are very small. I think veterans deploy, come home, and have to live in the civilian world. I see the struggles that law enforcement have is the day-to-day routine of doing your job, coming home at night. So a lot of the depression, the anxiety are very similar. They're the same issues, the same problems. It is just dealing with it from day to day versus it was a time of the past when I deployed a few years ago to what just happened yesterday or might happen tomorrow morning at work. So the symptoms are the same. The timing is different.
You are a badass, Richard, and you have done so much to further our cause and help our program and create a positive experience for the new participants. I can't thank you enough.
You guys have done so much for so many veterans. Getting the opportunity to be involved, I have to thank you and say I'm just grateful that I've given the chance. The struggles I've had in my careers and my life because of deployments and law enforcement, if I'm able to share those and maybe help somebody not get to the point that I did, as we've talked about, don't make the mistakes I did, reach out for help sooner. And that's MRP has really helped me in that regard and changed my life. So I can't thank you guys enough.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Don't be me. Don't make the mistakes I did.
I love those guys.
I know, they're two of my favorite alumni. And Lance, man, he comes across as such a mellow, humble guy, but 28 years as a Navy SEAL, that dude's a badass. I mean, Richard's a badass too in his own way.
Speaking of badass, guess what time it is? Time for the 2020 MRP Badass Awards. We have a fantastic group of volunteers, corporate sponsors, donors, and more who make this program what it is. But there are a few people who we want to highlight that have gone above and beyond the call of duty for MRP. And there is no better way to describe them than what did we just say? Badass.
Yes.
This year, we want to honor Richard Mosley, Ten Moyer, and Ken Murphy. Thank you for your generosity and your unwavering commitment to MRP. We are so effing grateful. But before we move on, we've got one more person to celebrate, and this is our Badass of the Year.
Mike, how are you?
What's happening, Tom?
Where the hell are you?
BFE, Kansas. trying to, get my mileage up to 27,000 miles this year.
Did you trim your beard?
No, it's tucked in my bust, so it's not flying around in my face.
Oh man, so people don't get to see it and it's full of glory. Oh, here it is.
There, is that better?
That's the Mike Bobbitt we know and love. I want everyone to know how much you do for MRP, because as our director of operations, you pretty much do everything associated with putting on the relief rides. We do not compensate you for all the work that you do. We've tried to, but you refuse to be paid for it. Explain that.
Well, thankfully I did 30 years in the Air Force, so our wonderful taxpayers give me enough money to live on, so I'm happy to be able to give back, and the value I get from participating in this program, both through the friends I've made and frankly seeing how folks' lives have changed in just the course of the short week we spend with them. So I've done 25 rides. To see guys come in all tentative at the beginning of the week, they're carrying a heavy load, and from the moment they arrive at the program and that first night when they do the icebreakers and folks introduce themselves, they finally realize they're not alone and start unpacking that rucksack and dropping some of that weight. So by the end of the week, they're laughing and smiling and actually getting some joy out of life again, which for many of them is the first time in a long time. And then staying in touch with them after the ride. I've made some lifelong friends through this program. What I get in return is far more valuable than any payment I could receive.
You haven't escaped trauma in your life, but yours doesn't all come from being in the military.
I had some experiences as a kid that weren't so great, and I try not to think about them, but I know they've affected me, and being able to share that during the rides has certainly helped me, as well as being able to reassure some other folks in the program that their experiences also aren't unique, and we all come by our issues in different ways, but it doesn't make them any less significant or make them impact us any less. It's definitely an all-inclusive program for those that are needing relief from whatever it is they're carrying.
Well, Mike, this year, picking up in that tradition, because you have stepped up to the plate in such a big way to help me out, to take over a lot of what Don was doing as lead volunteer. So this year, we would like to extend to you the Badass of the Year award, only the second time in MRP history that we have handed out that award.
To even have my name mentioned in the same sentence with Don, give me some more goosebumps. Excuse me. I got a bug in my eye. The appreciation is definitely, or I appreciate the recognition. I do what I do because I love the program. I love the people in it.
Mike, I love you. Thank you so much for all you do for MRP. You are truly a badass among badasses.
Congratulations on being the MRP Badass of the Year. And I want to say that I appreciate you for the person that you are. Some thoughts that come to mind about you as a person is riding the BDR with you in July. And even though you were talking to yourself about keeping your bitch up on the mud, that helped me get through that struggle fest of the day. And you got so many miles under your belt. I'm sure you'll continue to do great things for this organization.
This is Zach Bell. I just want to congratulate you on being the Badass of the Year award.
Mike, I want to say congratulations to your Badass of the Year. No one deserves it more than you. A while ago, I was really nervous to get involved in this program, and then you invited me in We started spooning together, your furry beard, everything just made it an incredible change in my life. Since then, we've been spooning together on rides, and I can't wait till the next ride. No one deserves a badass award more than you. Thanks for everything you've done. I used to exist. Now I'm living my life because of you. Thanks.
Mike, buddy, listen, been rattling my brain about what to say, trying to be all witty and everything, but this deserves all the attention it can get, dude. How many lives you've touched and how much positivity you've brought to our little community here of miscreants is, I don't know that it can be measured. And all things that you do, you truly are a badass, sir. I love you, and I'm so honored to be a part of your family. I love you, man. Congratulations. You're a fucking badass.
Mike Bobbitt, my hero. F resistance forever, baby.
That dude is truly obsessed with riding a motorcycle. He will choose a motorcycle over a car in the cold, in a blizzard. He's crazy.
And that's why we love him. Well, that's our show for tonight. Thank you all for being here. Tom, any last words?
No, just thank you, everybody. Thank you for all your support of MRP before now and tonight. And we really appreciate you, and Kat can't do it without you. So happy holidays, and here's to hoping that 2021 is less of a shit show for all of us.
Oh, we almost forgot.
What?
mrpenis.com.
Oh, our MR Penis. I completely forgot about MR Penis. We have to tell people about MR Penis.
We got a swag site, y'all.
Yeah, people, everyone's been asking me for this for a long time. Why don't you have MRP swag, t-shirts, and other stuff on your website? Long story short, it's a nightmare process when you're a 501c3. We're doing it completely different, where it's a retail site. You can go on, buy stuff with MRP stuff on it, and there's a lot of stuff that's brand new for us. But the proceeds help support Motorcycle Relief Project. There are so many cool items on this, and one of my favorites, well, there's a F resistance women's sports bra. I guess it could be a men's sports bra too, but it's made for women. And then the cutest thing ever, you can get a So Effin' Grateful baby bib for your own child or a grandchild, and it's cute as hell.
Get to shopping.